The Pittsburgh Steelers are getting ready to take on the New York Jets on the road to open the 2025 NFL season, and while every week one matchup carries its share of intrigue, this one feels particularly fascinating. It is rare in the NFL for two teams to essentially swap quarterbacks from one season to the next, but that is exactly what has happened here, and that wrinkle alone ensures that the eyes of the football world will be watching closely. The Steelers now have Aaron Rodgers under center, a legend with a Hall of Fame resume brought in for one final run, while the Jets have handed the keys to Justin Fields, the same quarterback who opened the 2024 season as Pittsburgh's starter. The storylines write themselves: the mentor against the young challenger, the franchise trying to chase one last Super Bowl versus the franchise hoping to prove it didn't make a mistake. Add in two defenses stacked with playmakers, and it's no surprise that Steelers Nation is buzzing with anticipation. For Pittsburgh fans, the main attraction lies in seeing how this defense, built to suffocate opponents and set the tone, responds to a quarterback it knows better than most. Fields started 6 games for the Steelers to begin the 2024 season, going 4-2 in those contests. On paper, that record looks solid, and there were certainly moments when Fields displayed growth compared to his time in Chicago. He used his legs to extend plays, flashed occasional confidence in throwing windows, and showed grit in tight games. But anyone who followed the Steelers last season knows those early wins came in large part because of the defense, which carried the team while the offense sputtered. When Russell Wilson returned to full health, Mike Tomlin made the decision to bench Fields, and the offense immediately opened up in ways it never had under him. That history looms large now as Fields prepares to face his former team with something to prove. When asked this week about Fields' abilities, Tomlin offered a telling response. "He's unique because he is stronger than most mobile quarterbacks," Tomlin said. "That's a component of his game that I think is unique. He is a really talented guy physically. He's not easy to bring down. He's got a real solid base about him. He's big. So, when I think about what might be different, I think about his unique physical skill set." Tomlin's comments were respectful, but noticeably focused only on Fields' physical gifts. He praised the size, the strength, the running ability, but stopped short of saying anything about his passing skills. For fans and analysts who have followed this saga, that omission spoke volumes. Fields' ability to consistently win from the pocket has been questioned since his rookie season with the Bears, and those questions only grew louder during his time in Pittsburgh. Tomlin's refusal to highlight any progress as a passer only reinforces the belief that he never fully trusted Fields to lead an offense through the air. This is where the matchup tilts heavily toward the Steelers. Fields' legs can be a dangerous weapon, no one disputes that, but against a defense as disciplined and talented as Pittsburgh's, one-dimensional play rarely succeeds. If Fields cannot establish some semblance of a passing threat, if he cannot hit throws down the field to keep Minkah Fitzpatrick in the secondary honest, then what, Highsmith, and the rest of the front seven will be able to pin their ears back and hunt. And few teams in football do that better than Pittsburgh. When the Steelers' defense smells blood, it feasts. It always has. The Jets' offensive line does Fields no favors. For the past several seasons, it has been one of the most inconsistent and problematic units in the NFL. Injuries, lack of chemistry, and missed draft picks have combined to create a revolving door of linemen who struggle to protect their quarterbacks. That is a recipe for disaster against a Pittsburgh defense that thrives on creating chaos. What remains one of the premier edge rushers in the game, Highsmith's relentless motor continues to draw praise, and the interior defensive line can collapse pockets faster than most teams can adjust. Add in the disguised pressures Tomlin and defensive coordinator Terrell Austin love to dial up, and Fields is going to be under duress from the opening whistle. Even if the Jets receivers find ways to get open, and they do have talent in that room, it may not matter if Fields doesn't have time to deliver the ball. And even if he does, Pittsburgh's secondary has been rebuilt to handle these kinds of challenges. Minkah Fitzpatrick's range and instincts remain the backbone of the unit, and pairing him with veterans and promising young corners gives Pittsburgh multiple looks to throw at Fields. Expect disguised coverages, baited throws, and traps designed to take advantage of a quarterback who has historically struggled with reading defenses quickly. Fields' legs can buy him time, but buying time against Wett and Highsmith often just means buying a ticket to the turf. For the Steelers, the formula for victory is simple and familiar. Play suffocating defense, create turnovers, and give Rodgers and the offense favorable field position. Against Fields, that formula is especially potent. If Pittsburgh can keep him bottled up as a runner and force him into must-pass situations, the turnovers will come. It is not unrealistic to expect multiple takeaways, whether through interceptions born of desperation or forced fumbles when Fields tries to extend plays too long. Those opportunities would tilt the game heavily in Pittsburgh's favor, especially if the offense is efficient in cashing them in. And that's the other side of this equation, the offense. Steelers fans know this team has the weapons to score if they can hold onto the ball and sustain drives. Rodgers brings poise and precision, Metcalf brings physical dominance, and the rest of the supporting cast has enough explosiveness to make defenses pay. The Jets' defense is no pushover, it has talent across all three levels, but if Pittsburgh wins the turnover battle and controls the pace, the offense doesn't need to be spectacular. It just needs to be steady. That is why so many analysts already see this game as Pittsburgh's to lose. The matchups align in their favor. The Jets are relying on a quarterback with glaring weaknesses against one of the league's most punishing defenses. The Steelers are entering the game healthier, more balanced, and with a proven formula for winning these kinds of contests. If Pittsburgh executes its game plan, the expectation is not just to win, but to win convincingly. Of course, Week 1 always carries a bit of unpredictability. Strange things happen in openers. Rust, new playbooks, unexpected stars, it's part of the charm and the danger of the first week of football. But for Pittsburgh, anything short of victory in this matchup would raise red flags. If the defense can't handle Fields, if turnovers don't come, if Rodgers and the offense sputter, then questions will swirl immediately about whether this team is truly built for a Super Bowl run. That pressure is what makes this opener so important. It's not just about starting 1-0, it's about setting the tone for the season and proving that the Rodgers experiment is going to work. For Steelers Nation, the message is clear: this is a game Pittsburgh should win. The defense is too good, the opponent too flawed, and the opportunity too perfect to waste. A commanding victory in New York would send a message to the rest of the league that the black and gold are back, serious contenders with one of the most feared defenses in football and a quarterback who knows how to win. If they stumble, doubt will creep in. But if they dominate, the season will begin with exactly the kind of momentum every fan in Pittsburgh has been dreaming about all summer.